Mira wiped the sweat from her forehead as she tightened the last bolt on the energy converter. The hum of the machines filled the maintenance bay with a steady rhythm, and the red glow of the emergency lights reflected off the metal walls. Nights on Verida were always quiet, almost too quiet, and Mira liked it that way. She could focus on her work without interruptions. She prided herself on being careful, precise, and quick with repairs. Today, however, something felt different. She paused and looked toward the doorway. The faint shadow of someone or something appeared against the bright corridor lights. Mira froze for a moment, unsure if her eyes were playing tricks. She wasn't expecting anyone at this hour. No one usually entered the maintenance bay without prior notice. She took a deep breath and tightened her grip on the wrench in her hand. Then she saw her. A figure glided silently into the bay, moving with an elegance that seemed almost unnatural. She was tall, taller than any human Myra had ever seen, with skin that shimmered faintly under the lights, reflecting shades of silver and soft blue. Her eyes were large, almond-shaped, and luminous, showing intelligence that seemed beyond human comprehension. Mira had heard stories about the alien species that lived on the outskirts of human colonies, but she had never met one before. "Hello," the figure said in a voice that was smooth, calm, and strangely soothing. "I am Tira." Mira blinked. The name sounded delicate, almost musical. She had expected an intimidating presence, maybe even some form of command, but Tira simply stood there, her hands folded gracefully in front of her. Her uniform gleamed, intricate patterns moving slightly as if alive. Mira noticed strange devices attached to her belt and a faint glow that ran along her sleeves. This was not a maid in the sense humans understood. This was someone with technology and knowledge far beyond human capacity. "I'm Mira," she said finally, her voice steadier than she felt. "Why are you here?" "No one told me anyone was coming." Tira tilted her head, studying Mira. There was no judgment in her gaze, only curiosity. "I was sent to assist. My arrival was unexpected. I apologize for any surprise." Mira hesitated. The idea of assistance sounded helpful, yet the situation made her uneasy. She had worked with robots, with maintenance drones, and even automated repair units, but never with a living being that seemed as advanced as Terra. Humans on Verida were capable, but the technology that Terra carried, the way she moved and analyzed everything around her, hinted at something far greater. "Assist. With what?" Myra asked. Terra's eyes shifted to the machines around them. She raised a delicate hand, and a faint holographic display appeared from her fingertips, projecting the schematics of the energy converter Mira had just repaired. Lines of light traced the circuits. Highlighting areas Mira hadn't noticed were slightly misaligned. "You have made a small error here," Tira said softly, pointing to a joint that Mira had thought was secure. "It may not seem critical, but it could cause a malfunction during peak output. I can assist in correcting it." Mira's mouth opened, then closed. She felt a mixture of pride and embarrassment. She had been careful, but Tira's knowledge and precision were unmatched. She could feel a strange mix of excitement and nervousness. You can do that?" she asked. Dadra nodded. Her movements were precise, almost like a dance. Within minutes, she had adjusted the components, her hands moving with confidence and elegance. Mira watched closely, fascinated by every step. The machine hummed smoothly afterward, and the warning lights dimmed. Mira felt a thrill of admiration. "You are fast," Mira said. "Faster than any human or machine I have worked with." Tira inclined her head. "Efficiency is part of my design, but you are observant. I can see it in your work that you have the potential to improve and adapt. That is why I am here." Myra didn't know what to say. She had always considered herself capable, but standing next to Tira, she suddenly felt small. Yet at the same time, a spark ignited inside her. If this alien maid, this being of immense skill, thought humans had potential, maybe there was more she could achieve than she had imagined. The two of them worked together quietly for a while. Mira began to notice Tira's method of observing, the way she seemed to anticipate problems before they occurred. Tira wasn't just fixing a machine. She was teaching, guiding, and evaluating simultaneously. Mira realized she could learn a lot from this presence, even if it was slightly intimidating, as the repairs finished. A loud alarm suddenly echoed through the colony. Red lights flashed across the bay. Mira jumped, startled, while Tira remained calm, her glowing eyes scanning the control panels. "Something is wrong," Tira said, her voice calm and measured. "The energy distribution network is showing an irregularity. It could be a fault or an external intrusion." Mira's heart raced. She had trained for emergencies, but she had never seen anything like this. An intrusion? You mean someone is attacking the colony? Tira shook her head slightly. "I do not know, but we must investigate immediately." Without waiting for permission, Tara moved toward the main control console. Mira followed, her instincts telling her that she had to keep up. Together, they analyzed the energy network, tracing the anomaly to a nearby power node. The screen showed fluctuating signals that Myra could not identify. "It is not human technology," Tira said quietly, her voice almost a whisper. "It is advanced but unfamiliar. It may be harmful." Myra swallowed hard. Fear and excitement mingled in her chest. She had never encountered anything like this before. Tira's presence was calming, yet the unknown threat made her heart pound. She realized that this night, which had started as routine maintenance, was turning into something extraordinary. Tara reached out and touched the console with a glowing fingertip. The screen shifted, displaying layers of data Mira had never seen. Within moments, Tara had identified the weak points in the system and formulated a plan to secure it. Mira felt a surge of admiration. This being was not just capable. She was extraordinary. You make it look easy," Mira said, her voice tinged with awe. Tira's eyes met hers. "It is not easy. It requires understanding, focus, and cooperation. You can do this too. Humans have a unique creativity that even I cannot replicate. That is why I am here to help you realize it." For the first time, Mira felt a strange sense of pride. She realized that despite the fear of the unknown, she was not powerless. With Tara's guidance, she could face challenges she had never imagined. The alarm finally stopped, and the lights returned to normal. Myra looked around the maintenance bay at the glowing machines and the alien figures standing beside her. Everything felt different. The quiet bay no longer seemed empty. It was alive with potential, with possibilities Mira had never considered. Tira turned to her and gave a slight bow. "The immediate threat is contained, but there is more to come. You must be prepared." Myra nodded, determination settling in her chest. "I will be ready. I want to learn." Tara's eyes shimmered faintly. "Then our journey begins." As the night deepened on Verida, Mira realized that her life had changed forever. The arrival of the unknown had brought not just danger, but opportunity. And standing beside her was the being who would challenge her, teach her, and show her the true potential of humans. The stars outside the bay window twinkled silently. Mira knew that beyond those stars, the galaxy was full of mysteries and challenges, but she no longer felt small. With Tira's guidance, she felt that humans might rise to meet anything the universe could send. The first part of this extraordinary night ended with Mira looking at Tira, wondering what the future held. One thing was certain, nothing would ever be the same again. The sun had not yet risen over Verida when Mira returned to the maintenance bay. The night had been long, filled with thoughts of the strange events that had unfolded. She could still feel the weight of Tara's presence, the calm confidence that seemed to make even the unknown threats less frightening. Mira had repaired many machines, faced many failures, but nothing had prepared her for encountering someone like Tira. Tira was already there. Standing near the main console, her glowing eyes scanning the schematics that Mira had left on the table. She did not turn when Mira entered. Instead, she spoke softly. "You have been considering the possibilities?" Tira said. Her voice was calm, almost melodic, yet it carried authority. "It is normal. Your mind is alert and curious. That is a strength." Mira nodded, walking closer. "I cannot stop thinking about last night. You saved the energy node?" I did not know I could do anything useful in a situation like that, but you made it look so easy. Tara finally turned her gaze toward Myra. It was not done alone. You contributed. Your observations, your instincts, your ability to adapt quickly, these are human strengths. You may not realize them, but they were crucial. That is why I was sent. Humans have potential that even advanced technology cannot replace. Mira felt a spark of pride, mixed with disbelief. She had always thought humans were limited, that their machines and tools were their main advantage. But Tira's words suggested otherwise. Humans could be more than their machines. They could adapt, think creatively, and act with courage. Mira had never felt so seen, so recognized for her abilities. I want to understand, Mira said. I want to learn from you. If humans have potential, then I want to know how to reach it. Tira inclined her head slightly, her expression unreadable but gentle. Learning requires patience, focus, and an openness to new ways of thinking. You are willing, so we will begin. Mira's heart raced. This was not just about fixing machines anymore. It was about understanding a being far beyond her experience. It's about discovering skills and knowledge she had never imagined she could have. She felt both excitement and nervousness. Tira gestured toward the main console. We will start with observation. Watch carefully. Mira leaned closer. Tira's fingers moved over the console with precision, activating hidden panels and holographic displays. Complex data streams appeared, showing the energy flow throughout the colony. Myra could not read all of it, but she noticed patterns. The way Tira anticipated changes and corrected anomalies instantly. Do you see? Tira asked, pointing to a fluctuating line on the display. This represents a small disturbance in the energy field. A human might ignore it or attempt to repair without understanding the cause. Observe my approach. Tira touched the hologram, and the line smoothed out as she adjusted the system remotely. Mira gasped. The correction was subtle but precise. The energy nodes stabilized, and the lights in the bay returned to their soft glow. How did you know what to do? Mira asked, her voice filled with wonder. Understanding comes from pattern recognition and experience, Tara said simply. I analyze, I anticipate, I adjust. Humans can learn this too, but it requires training and awareness. You must learn to observe without rushing. That is the first step, Mira nodded, determined. She wanted to understand. She wanted to prove that humans could be as capable as Tara suggested. She spent the next few hours watching, asking questions, and trying to replicate Tira's techniques. Every attempt felt awkward at first, but Tira guided her patiently, correcting mistakes without criticism, encouraging her with subtle gestures and quiet words. By mid-morning, Mira felt a small but noticeable change. She could see patterns in the machines that had escaped her before. She could anticipate small failures and correct them before they became problems. Tira's teaching was transforming her perspective, making her feel sharper, more capable. Just as Mira began to feel confident, the bay doors opened suddenly. Both women turned, and Mira froze. Outside, a group of workers had gathered, staring at the pair with wide eyes. Their reaction was a mixture of fear and awe. Is that an alien? One of the workers whispered. Yes, Mira replied, feeling a strange pride. She is here to help us. The workers hesitated, unsure whether to approach. Tira stepped forward gracefully, her posture calm and welcoming. I am here to assist, she said again. Your cooperation is appreciated. Together we can improve the systems that support your colony. Some workers relaxed, seeing Mira's confidence and Tira's gentle manner. Others remained cautious, whispering among themselves. Mira realized that trust would take time, but she could help bridge the gap between humans and this advanced being, before more words could be exchanged. The alarm sounded again. This time, the sound was sharper, more urgent. Mira's heart raced. Something was wrong. Tira's eyes glowed brighter, scanning the control panels with speed and precision. The anomaly has returned, Tira said. It is no longer within the energy node. It is approaching the colony. We must act quickly. Myra's stomach tightened. The colony had faced threats before, but never like this. The signals on the screen were strange, almost alien, showing patterns that Mira could not interpret. Tira moved with speed, her hands flying across the console, activating defensive protocols and sealing off vulnerable sections of the colony's energy grid. Mira followed her instructions, moving with urgency, but carefully. Trying to match Tira's precision, seconds felt like hours. The strange signals grew stronger, approaching the central hub. Mira could see the flicker of lights in the corridors as the colony prepared for impact. Her mind raced, but Tira's calm presence kept her focused. "Do not panic," Tira said, her voice firm yet soothing. "Fear clouds judgment. Act with awareness. Together, we can contain this." Mira nodded, taking a deep breath. She felt a strange combination of fear and exhilaration. The danger was real, but she was not alone. She had Tara guiding her, teaching her, and showing her what humans could do when they combined courage with knowledge. The energy grid shuddered under the strain. Tara's adjustments kept it stable. Mira worked alongside her, applying everything she had learned. Together, they corrected the anomalies, rerouted power, strengthened weak points in the system. Finally, the signals stopped. The alarms silenced. Mira sank into a chair, exhausted but exhilarated. She had survived her first real test alongside Tira. "You performed well," Tira said softly. "Your attention to detail, your calmness under pressure, your willingness to learn these are qualities that will serve you well. Humans have great potential, Mira. You are a prime example."
Ira
felt a warmth in her chest. For the first time, she truly believed that humans could rise to challenges beyond their technology. With the right guidance, they could adapt, learn, and overcome obstacles that seemed impossible. "Thank you," Mira said. I want to keep learning. I want to be ready for anything." Tira inclined her head. "Then we will continue. The galaxy is vast, and challenges are many. But with knowledge and cooperation, humans can achieve what others might consider impossible." The workers in the bay, who had been watching silently, began to whisper among themselves. Some were still cautious, but many were inspired. If Mira could work alongside this alien being, then perhaps humans were capable of far more than they had ever imagined. As the sun rose over Verida, Mira and Tira stood together, looking at the quiet colony. The night had tested them, but it had also revealed possibilities. Humans were not weak. They were resilient, creative, and capable of growth. With guidance and cooperation, they could rise to meet any challenge. Tara's presence was more than assistance. It was a symbol of what humans could become. Mira understood that this was only the beginning. The first contact had changed everything, and somewhere in the corridors of Verida, unseen eyes were observing. The anomaly had been contained, but the universe held many secrets. Mira would face them stronger than before, Tira by her side. The first contact had ended, but the real journey was just beginning. Mira felt a thrill of anticipation. The stars beyond Verida beckoned, and she knew that with courage, intelligence, and partnership, humans could stand among the greatest forces in the galaxy. Mira woke to the faint vibration of the colony alert system. The morning on Verida had barely begun, and already the red warning lights flashed across the hallways. Mira's heart pounded. She had faced alerts before, but something about this one felt different. She quickly dressed and ran to the maintenance bay, where Tira was already waiting. The alien's luminous eyes reflected the warning lights, but her posture remained calm and composed. "The anomaly has returned," Tara said in a measured voice. "This time, it is moving toward the residential sectors. Humans and structures are at risk. We must act immediately." Mira's mind raced. She had seen Tara's skill before, but now they would face the threat head-on. "What is it? Is it an attack?" she asked. Tira tilted her head slightly. "It is unknown, but it is intelligent and dangerous. The technology is advanced, designed to bypass human defenses. We must contain it before it causes damage." Together, they moved through the corridors, Mira following Tira's lead. The colony was alive with panic. Humans ran in all directions, trying to reach safe zones. Mira noticed the fear in their eyes, but also the determination. Even in moments of danger, humans were resourceful. She drew courage from that. As they approached the main residential sector, a strange humming sound filled the air. A metallic drone hovered above the colony plaza, its surface glinting in the morning light. Its shape was unlike anything Mira had seen. Sleek, angular, with multiple appendages that moved independently. The drone scanned the area, emitting pulses of energy that caused minor electrical disruptions in nearby machines. Mira froze for a moment. The threat was real. It was intelligent, and it was moving with purpose. She glanced at Tira, whose calmness was a steady anchor in the chaos. "Do not panic," Tira instructed softly. "Observe first, then act with awareness." Mira nodded, gripping the control panel she carried with her. She had helped Tara before, but now the stakes were higher. Failure was not an option. The drone suddenly descended toward a group of workers evacuating the plaza. Its appendages extended, aiming to disable the protective barriers. Mira felt a surge of fear, but she focused on Tira's teachings. Observe, anticipate, act. Tira raised her hand, and a shield of faint blue light emerged from her uniform, intercepting one of the drone's energy pulses. The light shimmered and expanded, pushing the drone back slightly. Myra realized that Tira's technology was not just defensive, it was adaptive. It responded to threats instantly, and Tira's mind guided it with precision. "Now," Tira commanded, "use the manual override. Focus." Mira hesitated for a fraction of a second, then activated the override she had prepared during the previous night's training. Lines of code and schematics appeared on her panel. She followed Tira's instructions to reroute energy to the colony's defense network. Sparks flew as the systems adjusted, but the barriers held. The drone recoiled, confused by the unexpected resistance. Tira moved swiftly, her appendages extending from her uniform to interact with the drone's systems. She analyzed its movements and projected holographic commands, disrupting the drone's control circuits. Mira watched, amazed at the speed and precision of Tira's actions. She realized that humans could never have handled this alone. Yet with cooperation, they had a chance. "Keep it busy," Tira instructed Mira. "Predict its actions." Humans have intuition that technology cannot replicate. That is your strength. Mira focused, her eyes tracking the drone's every movement. She noticed a pattern in its attacks and anticipated the next pulse. She redirected energy to the barriers at just the right moment. Blocking the drone's attempt to disable the residential sector, a small cheer went up from the humans who had taken shelter, giving Mira courage. The drone adapted quickly, shifting its tactics. It moved faster, targeting a secondary energy hub. Mira felt her pulse quicken. If the hub was destroyed, large sections of the colony would lose power, leaving humans vulnerable. She looked at Tira, who nodded slightly. It was time for the next step. Tira extended a small device from her belt and threw it toward the drone. It unfolded in the air, creating a field that disrupted the drone's sensors. The drone hovered uncertainly, its attacks becoming erratic. Mira saw an opportunity. She focused on rerouting energy to the containment systems and activated a network of magnetic pulses that Tira had instructed her to prepare. The drone struggled against the pulses, its movements slowing. Mira felt a surge of exhilaration. The combination of human intuition and alien technology was working. Together, they could protect the colony. Suddenly, the drone emitted a loud pulse that caused Myra to stumble. Sparks flew from the control panel, but she regained her balance. Tira's shield held firm, absorbing most of the energy. Mira realized that the threat was not yet over. The drone was intelligent and could adapt. They had to finish this quickly. "Focus, Mira," Tira said. "You are ready. Trust yourself." Mira took a deep breath and watched the drone's next move. She noticed a small opening in its defenses, a momentary lapse as it recalibrated. She acted instinctively, sending a precise pulse through the energy network to disrupt its control. The drone faltered, spinning in midair. Tira extended her hand and amplified the disruption, mobilizing it completely. For a moment, the plaza was silent, except for the hum of the colony's systems. The drone hung motionless, defeated but not destroyed. Mira felt a mix of relief and pride. She had faced the threat, acted with awareness, and succeeded. "You did well," Tira said softly, her glowing eyes meeting Mira's. "Your intuition, your courage, your focus, these are human qualities that cannot be replicated. You have proven yourself in a real test. Humans are capable of extraordinary things when they work together." Mira smiled, feeling a warmth she had never experienced before. She had always doubted herself, questioned her abilities, but now she knew that humans could rise to challenges beyond their technology. With determination, cooperation, and courage, they could face threats that seemed impossible. The humans who had been watching emerged from their shelters, cheering and clapping. Mira felt a sense of pride, not just for herself, but for her species. Humans were resilient, creative, and capable of facing the unknown. Tira's presence had amplified their strengths. But the courage had always been there. As the drone was secured and the energy hub stabilized, Mira walked beside Tira through the plaza. The aftermath was quiet but filled with activity. Workers were repairing minor damages, checking systems, and ensuring safety. Mira noticed the trust in their eyes, a trust she had not seen before. Humans could work with aliens, could learn from them, could rise to challenges together. "You see," Tira said, her voice calm but firm, "humans have potential that is underestimated. Fear and doubt limit what you can achieve. Courage, focus, and cooperation allow you to surpass those limits. You have demonstrated this tonight." Mira nodded, absorbing every word. She felt a sense of purpose she had never felt before. This was more than survival. It was growth, evolution, and the opportunity to prove that humans could rise above their own limitations as they returned to the maintenance bay. Mira realized that the colony had changed as well. Humans were inspired, seeing what could be achieved when courage and intelligence were combined. The night had tested them, revealed weaknesses, but also showed the power of unity. Tara looked at Mira, her luminous eyes reflecting pride. "There will be more challenges. The galaxy is full of threats and opportunities. You are ready to face them because you have learned to trust yourself and to work with others. Humans can accomplish what others might consider impossible." Mira smiled, feeling a surge of confidence. She was no longer just a maintenance engineer. She was part of something larger, a movement that could show the galaxy what humans were capable of. The first real test had been passed, and the journey was just beginning. Outside, the sun rose higher, casting warm light across the colony. The plaza was quiet now, filled with humans returning to their daily tasks. Mira looked at Tira, realizing that together they could face any threat, any challenge, and emerge stronger. The unexpected danger had revealed the true potential of humans, the ability to rise, adapt, and prevail. And as Mira watched the sky, she understood something profound. Humanity was no longer limited by its past. With courage, determination, and the guidance of allies like Tira, they could stand among the greatest civilizations in the galaxy. The unexpected threat had tested them, but it had also awakened something within Mira and the colony. Humans were capable of greatness, and with unity, intelligence, and courage, nothing could hold them back. The colony on Verida had returned to a fragile calm after the unexpected threat. Mira walked through the corridors, still carrying a sense of excitement from the night's events. Humans were beginning to talk about what had happened, sharing stories of courage and teamwork. Even those who had been afraid before now felt inspired. Mira felt proud, but more than pride, she felt a deep curiosity. She wanted to understand Tira and the advanced knowledge she carried. Tira was waiting for her in the maintenance bay, standing beside the main console. Her presence was calm, steady, and commanding. Yet there was a quiet warmth in the way she regarded Mira. Humans adapt quickly, Tira said, her luminous eyes following Mira as she entered. You have grown since our first encounter. Observation, intuition, and courage are strengths you are learning to use. Now it is time to expand your understanding. Mira nodded eagerly. I want to learn everything I can. Teach me how to think the way you do, how to see patterns, how to anticipate problems before they happen. Tira inclined her head. Observation is only part of the process. Understanding requires cooperation. Humans have creativity and intuition. I have knowledge and technology. Together, we can achieve what neither species could do alone. For hours, Mira and Tira worked side by side. Tara showed Myra advanced alien systems, explaining their logic in ways she could understand. The machines were intricate, more sophisticated than anything humans had built, yet Tira broke them down into simple principles. Mira began to grasp the connections, seeing how small adjustments could have large impacts. You see, Tira explained, every system has a balance. Energy, information, motion. Humans often focus on one element, ignoring the rest. Understanding requires seeing the whole, then acting precisely. Mira watched as Tira demonstrated a repair on a damaged energy conduit. Her hands moved with fluid precision, her devices adjusting components faster than Myra could follow. Yet when Mira tried to replicate the actions, Tara guided her patiently. You are improving, Tara said, her voice calm. But you must also trust your instincts. Technology alone does not solve problems. Human intuition is a key element. Mira felt a thrill. She was learning not just about technology, but about herself. She realized that humans had strengths that even advanced aliens could not replicate. Creativity, courage, and adaptability were her own tools, waiting to be honed. As they worked, Mira noticed something else. Tira was not just a teacher. She was a partner. Her presence encouraged Mira, made her focus sharper, her actions more confident. Mira began to see Tira as a friend, someone who respected humans and believed in their potential. After a long session of work, they took a break, sitting on a raised platform overlooking the colony. The sun was high, casting warm light over the buildings. Humans moved below, rebuilding, repairing, and sharing their experiences. Mira felt a deep sense of connection, not just to Tira, but to her species. Humans had survived challenges before, but now they were learning to rise above limits, to achieve more than they had thought possible. You have inspired them, Tara said, her voice soft. The humans below are beginning to understand what can be done with cooperation and focus. You are a model of human potential, Myra. Myra smiled. I never thought humans could do so much. We are strong, but I always doubted myself. Now, I see that we can rise to meet any challenge if we work together and trust ourselves. Tira inclined her head, her expression thoughtful. Humans have courage that cannot be measured. You face uncertainty with determination. That is why I am here. To help humans recognize their own strengths. The colony's leader approached, accompanied by several advisors. They had observed Mira and Tira working together and were eager to understand the progress. Mira explained what she had learned, showing the improvements to the energy grid and the protective systems. The leader's eyes widened with appreciation. This is remarkable, the leader said. We have never seen such efficiency and coordination. Mira, your efforts, combined with Tira's guidance, have strengthened the colony beyond expectation. Tira spoke next, her voice calm and authoritative. Humans have the capacity to adapt, innovate, and excel. Collaboration with advanced species is not a threat, but an opportunity. The colony will benefit from learning, cooperation, and courage. The humans listened closely, some nodding, others still hesitant. Myra realized that the colony was beginning to change. Fear and doubt were being replaced by confidence and hope. Humans were beginning to see themselves not as limited beings, but as partners capable of growth and achievement. Over the following days, Myra and Tira continued their work, exploring alien technologies and integrating them with human systems. Mira discovered that her own creativity was a powerful tool. She suggested new configurations for energy conduits, combining human engineering principles with Tara's advanced methods. The results were impressive. Systems were more efficient, safer, and easier to maintain. Tara observed quietly, occasionally providing guidance. Innovation requires experimentation, she explained. Humans excel at thinking beyond established patterns. You have shown me that adaptability and courage can create solutions that even my technology alone could not achieve. Mira felt a deep satisfaction. She realized that humans had not only survived challenges, but had begun to shape the future. The lessons Tara brought were invaluable, but the courage, determination, and creativity came from within. Humans were proving themselves capable of extraordinary achievements as the days passed. Mira noticed a subtle change in her own confidence. She no longer doubted her decisions or hesitated under pressure. Working with Tara had taught her focus, precision, and patience. She had learned to trust her instincts while valuing knowledge and guidance. The combination of human intuition and alien expertise was powerful. One afternoon, Mira and Tara were reviewing the colony's energy network when an unexpected observation appeared on the display. A small anomaly was moving through the outer sectors of the planet. Mira felt a surge of caution. Another threat? She asked. Tara studied the readings. It is possible, but it is not yet dangerous. Observation is required before action. Humans have a unique perspective that allows rapid assessment. Watch carefully, Mira. They spent hours analyzing the anomaly. Mira noticed patterns, movements, and energy fluctuations that were subtle but important. She suggested adjustments to the monitoring systems, combining human intuition with Tira's technology. The result was an early warning system capable of detecting threats before they reached the colony. Tira's eyes glowed faintly, sign of approval. You are learning quickly. Observation, analysis, and creativity are key strengths. Humans can achieve great things when these qualities are recognized and cultivated. Ira felt a deep sense of pride. The colony had faced danger, learned from it, and grown stronger. She realized that humans were not weak, not limited. They were capable of rising to challenges, of adapting and excelling when guided and encouraged. That evening, Mira and Tara stood on a platform overlooking the colony. The sun was setting, casting long shadows across the buildings. Humans moved below, confident and busy, no longer paralyzed by fear. Mira felt a sense of connection to her species and to Tara. Together, had begun a transformation that could shape the future of Verida. You have shown humans what is possible. Tara said softly. Courage, focus, and collaboration are the keys. The colony is stronger because of your efforts, Mira. Humans have potential that must be nurtured and trusted. I have learned so much from you. But I also see that humans can rise to meet challenges. We are stronger than we think, and we can achieve more when we work together. Tara's expression was calm and approving. That is the essence of progress. Knowledge and courage, combined with adaptability and creativity, allow humans to accomplish extraordinary things. You have demonstrated this, and others will follow your example. As night fell over Verida, Mira realized that the bond between human and alien had grown stronger. Tara was more than a guide or teacher. She was a partner. It's a symbol of what humans could achieve when fear was replaced with courage and cooperation. The colony was transforming. Inspired by the example of one human and one alien working together, humans were learning to trust their own abilities, to embrace challenges, and to see themselves as capable of greatness. Mira felt a sense of purpose that she had never known. The universe was vast, full of unknown threats and opportunities. But she no longer felt powerless. Together, Mira and Tara had shown that humans were more than their technology, more than their limitations. They were capable of extraordinary achievements, and as Mira looked at the stars above, she understood that this was only the beginning. The bond between human and alien was not just a partnership, it was a bridge to the future, a testament to what could be achieved when courage, intelligence, and collaboration were combined. Mira knew that humans could rise, adapt, and succeed. Even in the face of challenges far greater than they had ever imagined, the lessons of Verida were clear. Humans had potential that could not be measured by machines alone. With guidance, encouragement, and trust in their own abilities, they could reach heights that others considered impossible. Mira felt a surge of hope and determination. The galaxy awaited, full of mysteries, dangers, and opportunities. Humans were ready. The colony of Verida was calm in the early morning light. The events of the past days had left humans inspired and more confident than ever. Mira walked through the central plaza, her eyes scanning the busy workers who moved with purpose. Buildings were repaired, systems optimized, and the air was filled with quiet energy. Yet Mira knew that their peace was only temporary. The galaxy was vast, and unknown challenges still awaited. Terra appeared beside her silently as always. Her presence was calm but commanding, her glowing eyes reflecting the morning sun. Mira felt a sense of reassurance. Together, they had faced threats and learned from one another. Now, Mira sensed that the final lesson was approaching. "Humans have grown," Terra said, her voice smooth and deliberate. "You have learned to observe, to anticipate, to act with courage and precision. But there is more you must understand." Mira looked at her, curious. "More? What is it?" Terra paused, her gaze distant. "My mission has not been merely to assist or to teach. I was sent to evaluate humans, to find those capable of leadership and innovation, to guide the future of interstellar cooperation." Mira's heart skipped a beat. "You mean me?" Terra inclined her head. "You, and those like you? Humans have qualities that cannot be measured by technology alone. Courage, creativity, intuition, these are strengths that allow you to rise above challenges, to achieve what others might consider impossible." Mira felt a mix of pride and humility. She had never imagined that she could be part of something so important. She had always thought humans were limited, constrained by their machines and environment. Now, she realized that her species had potential beyond measure. "You believe humans can do great things?" Myra asked softly. Tira's eyes glowed faintly. "I do. Humans have courage that rivals the greatest civilizations. Your ability to adapt, to learn, and to act decisively is remarkable. That is why I am here, to help you recognize your own strengths." The plaza around them was filled with activity. Mira noticed the workers, the engineers, the children playing nearby. Humans were resilient, resourceful, and capable of learning quickly. Tira's presence had amplified their abilities, but the courage and creativity had always been theirs. Mira felt a surge of hope. Humanity could rise to meet any challenge if they trusted themselves and worked together. "Then we must show them," Myra said, determination settling in her chest. "We must prove what humans can do."
Ada nodded.
Yes, leadership is not about command alone. It is about guiding, inspiring, and enabling others. You have the ability to do this, Mira. The colony, and perhaps the galaxy, will benefit from your example. Together, they approached the colony council. Mira felt her heart race, but Tira's calm presence steadied her. The council members had gathered to discuss the events of the past week, curious about the progress and inspired by the reports of humans working alongside an advanced alien. Myra stepped forward. "I want to share what we have learned," she said, her voice clear and confident. "Humans are capable of rising to challenges. We can adapt, innovate, and overcome obstacles that seem impossible. With guidance, collaboration, and courage, we can achieve extraordinary things." The council listened intently. Tira stood beside Mira, silent but supportive. Mira explained the improvements to the energy systems, the protective measures, and the strategies they had developed to face threats. She described how humans and Tira had worked together. Combining intuition and technology, the council members were impressed. Some nodded in approval, others exchanged thoughtful glances. Mira could see the change in their eyes. Humans were beginning to believe in themselves, to see their own potential as Terra had seen it. Terra finally spoke. "Humans have proven that courage, creativity, and cooperation are qualities that cannot be measured by technology alone. They are capable of extraordinary achievements. The colony of Verida is a testament to what humans can accomplish when they embrace their strengths and work together." Mira felt a sense of pride and responsibility. She understood that this was more than recognition. It was a challenge. Humans could rise, but they had to continue learning, adapting, and acting with courage. She looked at the council and the workers around them, and she knew that their example would inspire the next generation. After the meeting, Mira and Tara walked to the observation deck overlooking the colony. The sky was vast, filled with stars that twinkled like distant promises. Mira felt the weight of possibility settle over her. The universe was enormous, full of mysteries and dangers, but also full of opportunity. "You see those stars?" Tira asked, her voice calm but filled with meaning. "Each one represents a challenge, a chance for growth, a test of courage. Humans have the potential to rise to these challenges, to explore, to innovate, and to lead. You are capable of more than you know." Mira nodded. "I believe that now. Humans can be strong, brave, and clever. We can face the unknown, and we can succeed." Tara's eyes glowed brighter, as if acknowledging Mira's words. Then the journey continues. The galaxy is vast, and humans are no longer alone. Cooperation, trust, and courage will guide you. You have proven yourselves, but the future awaits your leadership. Myra felt a surge of determination. She knew that this was only the beginning. The threats they had faced were minor compared to the challenges that might come from beyond Verida. But she also knew that humans were not weak. They were adaptable, resourceful, and capable of extraordinary things. With courage and collaboration, they could stand among the greatest civilizations in the galaxy. As night fell, the colony glowed with quiet life. Mira stood beside Tira, looking at the horizon where the first stars appeared. She realized that humans had changed. They had learned to trust themselves, to act with courage, to embrace challenges as opportunities. "You have shown humans what is possible," Tira said softly. "Courage, focus, and collaboration are the keys. The colony is stronger because of your efforts. Humans have potential that must be nurtured and trusted." Mira smiled. "We will continue to learn. We will continue to grow. Humans are ready to face whatever comes next, and we will do it together." Tira inclined her head. "That is the essence of progress. Knowledge and courage, combined with adaptability and creativity, allow humans to accomplish extraordinary things. You have demonstrated this, and others will follow your example." Mira felt a deep sense of fulfillment. She had faced the unknown, learned from a being far beyond her understanding, and discovered the potential within herself and her species. Humans were no longer just survivors. They were capable of greatness. The stars above Verida seemed to shine brighter that night, reflecting the new hope that Mira felt. Humans had risen to challenges, faced danger with courage, and learned to embrace their own abilities. The galaxy awaited, and Mira knew that humanity was ready. Tara's presence had shown Mira the possibilities, but the courage and creativity had always been human. Now, humans could face the future with confidence, ready to explore, to innovate, and to rise to any challenge. Together, Mira and Tira stood on the observation deck, looking at the stars. The colony below moved with purpose and determination. Humans had proven themselves capable, and the universe held no limits for those who embraced their courage, intelligence, and creativity. Myra felt a sense of connection, not just to Tara, but to her species. Humans were not weak. They were strong, adaptable, and ready to rise above any obstacle. The journey had begun, and the story of human potential was only unfolding. As Mira gazed at the endless sky, she knew that the future was theirs to shape. Humans could rise, explore, and achieve greatness, with courage, trust, and collaboration. They could stand among the stars and leave a mark that would endure. Tara's eyes glowed faintly, as if acknowledging the promise of what was to come. "The universe awaits," she said softly, "and humans are ready." Mira nodded, filled with determination and hope. She knew that the galaxy held challenges and mysteries beyond imagination. But she also knew that humans were no longer limited by fear or doubt. They were capable, strong, and ready to rise. And as Mira stood beside Tira, looking at the stars, she understood something profound. Humans were no longer observers of the universe. They were participants, leaders, and explorers. They had courage, creativity, and determination. They had potential, that could not be measured by technology alone. The story of Verida had shown the galaxy what humans were capable of. Mira smiled, ready for the adventures that awaited. Humans were ready, and together with allies like Tira, they would rise to meet whatever challenges the universe could send. The stars above glimmered with promise. The future was bright. Humanity had awakened.